All right, welcome to 13 Not Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing Joker, 2019 film directed by Todd Phillips. Clocks in at around 2 hours long and cost about $55 million to make, and stars Joaquin Phoenix. So he is the next Joker in line here. And this is a story that I've always wanted to hear or them to make a film of, is the origin of the Joker. I mean, the villain. The villain of all villains, and it seems like in comics to me anyway. And it's a clown movie, so, I like clown movies. Now, I had my worries going into this film as far as I was expecting the Killing Joke. And they had aspects of the Killing Joke to it as far as, I'm not a big comic book guru or nothing, but I like the Killing Joke. Yeah, there was aspects of the Killing Joke in there, and you saw that from the trailer, stand-up comedian, stuff like that. I'm not going to go in everything because I'm not going to give y'all no spoilers that it wasn't in the trailer. And I didn't read no reviews going into this, so you're going to get my honest opinions of this film. I was expecting to be an anxiety-driven film, like tense, very tense film. If you got anxiety, you might want to take a Xanax or some shit like that, is what I expected out of this film going in. And I know this film had a lot of talk around it about gun violence and causing gun violence, to the fact that some theaters even took the Joker off of theaters. And watching the film, I can I hate to say it, but I can see why it would drive somebody that's on the brink of insanity to the fact that they would do something like that to where this film, and I'm sorry, that's what I felt. I could see where it might glorify something to that aspect, and y'all don't give me shit about that. I don't give a fuck. That's what I felt. That's what I'm saying. I could see where somebody's on the brink of insanity and are just on the edge of pulling a mass shooting or something, and seeing this film, and it drives them over the edge to do something like that. And that's not a knock on the film at all. That's just something that I could see, to the fact where I was looking around the theater like, who's the crazy motherfucker in here? I actually had one guy, I'm not gonna lie, there was a guy in front of me and he looked kind of nervous and stuff, and he goes up there and he's a Joker, and I'm like, fuck, there he is. So I'm gonna watch that guy. But Joaquin Phoenix, let's just go into him. Joaquin Phoenix puts on, I would say, and this is the other thing I was afraid of. This was going to be an Oscar-driven movie. This film was going to be made for the Oscars, and I fucking can't stand the Oscars. Can't stand it. Don't watch it. Won't never watch it. It's fucking Hollywood giving Hollywood awards. But I will have to say that Joaquin Phoenix's performance was amazing. Like, it was one of the best performances I've ever seen. And hats off to him, because that looked like a grueling, golly, to get that character down and going through all the stuff. This film, I was expecting it to be like a build up to the end type movie. Like, it's going to be a real slow burn. And I was trying to think of a film that it reminded me of. This film is one of the darkest, most, dark. It's dark. It's dark. And it's one of the darkest. I watch horror films in the movie theaters, and this is probably one of the darkest films I've ever fucking seen in the theater. The only movies that gave me this feeling that, like, what I was watching in the theater was more toward the indie side of stuff. I was like, man, Hollywood could do this all the fucking time, but they don't do it. And what I was watching in there, it gave you that feeling of dread. It gave you that feeling of, like, depression. Like, man, it's like I was expecting him to go down, I guess, and, like, far as, like, mentally break down. But when it just kept spiraling, I was like, okay, he's had enough. Fuck. Can we just quit? He's had enough. This would have drove me to the point of breaking. Like, man, when I was in there, and like the the plot twist. That's the one thing I was worried about with The Killing Joke. I was like, how are they gonna pull this off? And they fucking pulled it the fuck off. I was like, wow. Just sitting there in awe, and like 2 hours long, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to go piss. I'm gonna have to piss. And okay, this looks like a good moment, and then something comes up. That's the thing. For a slow burn movie, a lot of times there's dragging points. It feels like to me. This film did not drag at all. There was not one scene I remember in this film that did not mean something. It wasn't going somewhere in the film. To the point where, like, I was ready to go to the bathroom. And it's just like, I can't. I'm going to miss something. Like, I've never seen a movie that, like, it seemed like every part of this film built his character, like every scene. And that's about the best way that I can explain it. I was trying to think of movies that, damn, you hear that? That's thunder. I was trying to think of movies that this could remind me of. And, to the point like Antichrist. I remember the movie Antichrist with Willem Dafoe, and Willem Dafoe's character in that. It gave me to that kind of reminded me of that, but with a little more action, I guess, and stuff. The way they pulled off the story, it was just amazing to me. I thought how are we going to pull this off without Batman? And they fucking pulled it off. I couldn't believe it. The whole story with the mother, which y'all already know the mother's in it, that was an incredible story to me. It did not go by any comics that I know of, but I'm not a comic guru, so all I know is The Killing Joke. So, there's other origin stories, I'm sure, in the comics that may have went like this. I don't know. But I was hoping for The Killing Joke. But what I got, I think, was even better than The Killing Joke. If some of y'all going to argue with me on that, but I like this story. I liked how the origin panned out. To the point where I remember catching myself. And a lot of people will argue that the Joker they don't want to feel sorry for the Joker. And I had a conversation with somebody. He's like, I don't want to feel sorry for the Joker. I've hated the Joker my whole life because I'm a big comic book person. I hate the Joker. I don't want to feel sorry for the Joker. And to that, I would say, like, and you'll get some of this right here, a quote saying, like, you don't ever see the other side. And when I mean the other side is like, you got the heroes and stuff, but then you got the side of what created this person. So I can see where it can make you feel sorry for the person, until the point where he like goes insane and starts killing people or something. Then you don't feel sorry for the dude no more. But I remember watching this, and everything about this film, from the music, everything, it was just dark. It was sinister almost, like the build up for everything. There was points where there was a kind of a Fight Club type moment in the film that I enjoyed a lot because I didn't see that coming. And there was a lot of shout outs in the film to I noticed at least two shout outs to John Wayne Gacy in the film. And I don't like saying a shout out to John Wayne Gacy, like, oh, props to John Wayne Gacy. No, fuck that dude. But there was like little shout outs to him as far as like I think the bar, the comedy club that he was doing his comedy act at was called Pogo's, which everybody knows what John Wayne Gacy's clown name was. Now the other one would be, of course, the makeup. The first of the movie looked more like John Wayne Gacy makeup, which is kind of weird that they would choose that. But, I can see why, I guess, because you are making one of the most sinister villains of all time in comic book history. And going after and making the clown makeup similar to one of the real life serial killers, villains in John Wayne Gacy. But man, this film, I was sitting there watching it and I caught myself like looking up at it. Wow. And more thunder. And I caught my eyes tearing up. And I was like, why's my eyes? I caught it and I was like, man, and I wasn't because I felt sorry for the Joker. It they was tearing up for how fucking badass this movie was and what I was like seeing and this happened to me as has happened to me before, but and twice this year, matter of fact. But it was just kind of like in awe of what I was seeing, man. I caught myself tearing up, like, wow, this is fucking amazing. And the other one was for different reasons, but I've never had a film make me feel like this amount of darkness in the theater. It was just amazing, the spiral that Joaquin Phoenix's character had to go through to get to the point of being the Joker. They just kept throwing fucking shit at him. It was something to watch, and you need to watch this in the theater. I think everybody needs to go watch this so they don't get, especially so they keep making more stuff like this. This is amazing to me that this got the okay from Hollywood to put this in theaters and go with it. I don't know what got into them. I'm amazed. But definitely go check this out. I don't really know what else that I can add to this review without like spoiling something. And I've talked a pretty good while on it already. The maroon suit was a little different. I do like the setting in the 80s, I believe it was. The job he had, where it shows him in the trailer with the clown and then getting robbed and it spirals. I mean, it spirals to like some points that where there was no way I would have thought about this stuff, and the way it makes everything connect. There's a very cool story that you don't really get to see in the trailers. They hid everything. They hid it. They threw me for a loop because I thought this movie was gonna. I was very expecting this thing to disappoint the fuck out of me. But that's about all I got. I can't really think of anything else to add to it. I mean, we can compare the Jokers. If you compare Joaquin Phoenix's character Joker to, it would be most comparable to Heath Ledger's. The problem with it is Heath Ledger's got a little bit more of a head on his shoulders, to where, like he's been the Joker longer and he's more got more control over him and stuff. This one is more of like a childlike behavior to him, mentally ill, like childlike behavior, where he's not really just no. I don't guess he's got as much control, like confidence. Like he don't got the confidence, because every time you would see him like start building that confidence up, he do something like a childlike behavior that make you come down. Okay, he's still human. He's still not fully the Joker yet or something, And so I mean that's the feeling that I got from it. The dancing and stuff. He would just do little things that would make you realize, okay, he's still human. He's not the Joker yet, the one that Batman fights and stuff. So. But by the end of the movie, the transformation from Joaquin Phoenix by the first of the movie to the end of the movie is something fucking unreal to me. What I seen, the cinematography was fucking amazing. If we can want to talk about cinematography, I'm gonna start just talking about it when there's something that just pops, and this movie pops all the way through. Everything about it, from the music to the camera work to the direction to the acting. This movie, if Joaquin Phoenix don't win an Oscar this year, then they need to just not even have the Oscars no more, because he's just out. I don't think there's any topping what Joaquin Phoenix did with this movie. But put on a happy face and go watch the film. I appreciate y'all hanging with me. Y'all come back and hang again sometime. All right, you want to hear my Joker laugh? Here it goes. Give me a headache.